That's why they have installed gates in a way.
Oh yeah, the gates. I mean, officially, there are a couple of reasons why the gates exist. So one is, in Brussels and beyond, the idea of having tickets is double. One is to create a financial revenue. So there is this idea, this dogma that you need to have the contribution from the passenger for the system to work, which I think is a myth. I don't remember the latest figures, it changes year on year, but more or less Steep makes 1/3 of the operational budget, so the money that they need for energy costs, personnel costs, for just daily management, running of the system, this comes from the passenger. The rest comes from a subsidy from the state. So if you pay the ticket, yeah, okay, this is an important contribution, but actually we are not the ones who make the system run. The investment, so buying new vehicles, putting a new tram line, let alone like the metro, is of course a ridiculously expensive proposition. So none of this comes from the passenger. All this comes from a subsidy from the state. So, but still there is this idea in the transport industry that without the contribution of the passenger, financially the network will not operate, which I think is very controversial and not really true. And the second one is of course disciplining passengers. So regulating the flows, making sure that can close a station, open a station, regulate how many people pass through or don't. And another thing of course related to the discipline is that you can count the passengers. So Steep claims that these gates not only allow for maintaining the revenue, so making sure that everybody pays, taps in, taps out, but also that you count and you also have an idea of place of origin and place of destination. But we know very well that there are alternative ways of measuring this. And you actually don't need all this data, and also we don't really know what the relevant authorities, Bruxelles Mobilité and Steep, what do they actually do with this data? So there's also the trap of generating an enormous amount of data, but there is very little evidence, or actually no evidence, that they use this data to inform policy. The best example is Metro 3. So we know very well that people don't need the Metro 3, but still it will be built. So regardless of all this data that is being generated from tickets, policy does not really follow. They make policy not based on evidence or data, but based on, well, on politicians, so politics, no?